Hi guys, you would have seen on my Instagram fairly recently that I did a story or an IGTV about a search for kind of ethical companies that I wanted to kind of give them a shout out, and I wanted to kind of find these organisations that are trying to make the world a better place so that I could then review them possibly, or just learn a bit more about, why these businesses are operating the way that they do. With that in mind, today I've got something quite exciting where I actually had the opportunity to work a little bit with Vivo Life, which, if you've been following my blog for a while, you would know that I reviewed them over a year ago now. What I've got today is my top 3 favourite things about Vivo Life sports nutrition. And back then, it was just a case of finding a vegan kind of supplement of protein. But since then, I've learned a bit more about the company. I've started to understand a bit more about their ethics and their values, and I've become obsessed with the company ever since. So typically I'd run through my top 3 favourite things, and this time I'm not going to be focusing on the fact that each sale donates 20p to Street Games charity. Actually, today I will be focusing on that.
Well, so that's actually been shifted. So we did do street games up until May last year. And we switched that for the tree planting just because, street games are an incredible charity. We still do work with them and fundraising, but we felt it's a lot more tangible for people to see, okay, when I place my order, I'm planting a tree and this is what I'm doing. So that was a straight swap.
Oh, okay, that's cool. That's interesting.
Because I had the pleasure of speaking with one of Vivo Life's co-founders, Josh Boulding. Over to you, Josh.
Much love, man. I appreciate that you chose us as the bar to set for ethical companies. I appreciate it.
Obviously, right now you and I are having this conversation in a video call with the pandemic outside. So at this time, it is a challenging time. A lot of businesses are focusing in kind of being in a survival mode and trying to think about how they can just kind of keep the money coming in. But from what I can see about Vivo Life, it's actually more of an outward-facing company. It's not only can you do not only what can you do for yourself and your employees, but also how you make the world a better place at the same time.
Yeah.
So kind of my first question is, what drives you to want to be like that in business?
Well, I think it always comes from like your own personal nature. And ever since we started Vivo, I realized quite quickly, as I said in the podcast with Salve, when we first did it, our mission was simply to create the best supplements on the planet because I'd been in the supplement industry. I got really frustrated with the quality of products that were there and I felt we could do it better. So we did. But very quickly, I realized that Vivo could be a lot more than that, and it could be a vehicle to impact people's lives in other ways. So we could, rather than just selling them products and saying, thank you, see you again in 2 months' time, we could actually give people the right information that's going to help them with their health and fitness. We can do really positive things for the planet, and we can really use Vivo as a vehicle for positive change. So that's how I see it now. I see supplements, even though it's our income, I see it as just one small part of the business. I see the education, the community, the environmentalism, all as just as important, if not more. So that's where it comes from, and everything we do just aligns with our own personal values as people. So mine, my business partners, and everyone in the team, we want everyone to be able to have their say and contribute and say, look, this is what we can be doing. I'll give you an example of that, which has happened quite recently, and it was one of the ladies on our customer service team found out about this incredible animal sanctuary, which were based in New York, called the Catskill Animal Sanctuary, and they've rescued more than 7,000 factory farmed animals and taken them onto their farm. And usually they are run by visitor donations because people can come in and pet the animals and so on. And now, obviously, with the world being like it is, they can't. So Fed on our customer service team spoke to us, made us aware that this was going on, and we said, look, we want to help. So what we're doing right now is we're diverting a lot of our charity donations into this animal sanctuary and helping them to obviously pay the bills and keep the animals fed and so on. And one thing that they did to say thank you was they turned up at one of our Zoom meetings and showed us all the pigs. So we were pig bombed in our Zoom meeting. So halfway through one of our strategy meetings, a new guest pops into the Zoom call and it's, lo and behold, a load of pigs, and we got to see around the farm and see what they were doing, and it was really nice. So little things like that. We want everyone, whether you're external and you're a customer or you're internal and you work for the company, we want everyone to be able to have their say and say, right, what does Vivo stand for and what can we do to make an impact?
Yeah, I mean, that's amazing. I think you don't necessarily see that with a lot of companies. That's why I think you guys are great at kind of leading that charge. And and one of the things that Salve says to you in your podcast is like the 3 Ps, and it's focusing on, if I put it right, people, planet, and profit.
4 Ps, so there's product as well.
Oh, product as well. There you go. There you go. In this one. But so, what does it go in? Do you remember how he said it?
Did you say what order?
Yeah.
There isn't any specific order, so it's just so we have it actually as like it's on a flower. So there's 4 petals on the flower. So there's product, people, planet, and profit. And yeah, and they're like the fundamentals of what we consider a successful business model to be.
So what's really interesting is you said there's no order, but you've said it in the same order that Salve said, other than product. So I missed that part.
That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, you literally said it in the same order. And what's quite interesting, something I've heard in the past is that we instinctively say things in the order that we prioritize things, like quite naturally.
So which order did I say? Did I product, planet, people, and profit? Okay, interesting.
Yeah, so you put profit last, and I was like, that says quite a lot again.
Yeah, but again, so I would say and you probably heard this on the podcast, for the first 3 years we're in business, profit was a word we were really scared to use, and it felt like a dirty word. It brought up pictures for me of, you know, businessmen in their offices counting their revenue, but we realized very quickly that if we were to run a successful business and make the change that we want to, profit has to be a part of it. You have to have a profitable business if you're going to be able to employ staff, if you're going to be able to grow the company, launch new products, and ultimately make an impact that we want to make. So we realized that, okay, if we do want to do this, profit does have to be a part of this, and we should not be scared of making profit, because it's not like the profit is going straight in our pockets. This profit is being used to actually come back into the business and make a change. So profit became the 4th P.
Nice. I love that. It's amazing. And so my second question, because you obviously, like I said, I think you have got a kind of priority there without even realizing it a little bit. But have you ever veered off kind of your vision? Have you ever done something you thought was the right thing, and later on thought, actually, no, that's not something we should have done. That's not in line with our vision. And if you have, how did you recognize it?
So I can't think of a specific example, and I'm sure there has been. Nothing has come to mind, and the reason I probably say that is because everything we do does come from that place of heart, and it's very much a collective decision. You know, we will never just rush out a new product. Most of our products take years and years to make. We'll never ever rush out a blog or even an Instagram post or anything like that. Like, everything is cross-checked most of the time from Salve and I, which is you know, it means that there's always that second opinion being looked at it, and we're not scared to call each other out and say, actually, can this be done better, or is this truly Vivo values? So nothing is really coming to mind. I wish I had a better answer for you there, but I can't.
Well, really, you've got to pass the test, I guess. You haven't ever veered off your vision.
Yeah, and I'm sure it will happen at some point. Obviously, as the company continues to grow, you have less and less say. But one thing we take a lot of pride and a lot of effort in is everyone who comes on board is fully. I mean, they don't actually touch their work for a good few weeks before they're fully onboarded, fully understand the Vivo values, what we stand for, who we are, what our products are, and I think that part of it goes a long way to understanding why we are making these decisions.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, and so on to the third question, because I'm aware time is kind of moving on. You're a busy guy.
Don't use the B word. I have all the time that we need, so take your time.
What about beats? Can I use that word?
Yeah, go ahead. Absolutely.
Okay. So, what's quite interesting, something else that I've read about in the past, is that everything that we buy, every decision we make is about trying to portray a version of ourselves that we want the world to kind of interpret. So, for the people that are buying your product, what message do you think that they're trying to kind of give off to the world when they buy your product?
Really good question. I think everyone is going to have their own reasons for buying the product. It could be for a number of reasons. However, I would hope that one would be compassion, compassion for the planet, compassion for animals, and compassion for themselves as well. Because by choosing our products, I'm in absolutely no illusion that there are not cheaper products on the market, you know, but people, when they invest in our product, they're doing it because they want the best for their health too. So I consider that compassion for themselves. So I say that's a big part of it. And also I'd say like trying to make a positive change in the world. So again, whether that's through leveling up their own health, whether that's through investing in a product that has compostable packaging over plastic packaging, whether that's investing in a product that they know they're going to plant a tree. So I think all of these things would come into the decision making process. I'm sure there's people that just buy the protein because it tastes good, but I think consumers are so much more educated than they were even 2 or 3 years ago now. I think people really care who they're buying into, and I think we're seeing that, with the community that we're building and why people do come back. It's not just a transaction anymore. They feel invested in it. It's the reason we're speaking, and that's really important to me. So I would hope it's going to be some of those reasons.
Okay. Yeah, I think for me personally, it's definitely along those lines. Initially I went vegan, I went plant-based, finding that kind of vegan supplement. And I remember actually wanting it for ages. It was on the wish list for ages. I was like, oh, do I go for it? Do I not? Back then I was using My Protein, I think it was. It was like bulk powders, all the usual kind of ones. And then it was like, oh, actually, as you, like I said at the beginning of this kind of call, actually, you start scratching the surface, digging a bit deeper, like, there's more going on, and it was more in line with my values. And I was like, actually, I don't want to just buy the product. I want to support the company. Like, and as Sal says it, I totally agree that your wallet is your weapon. It's, every time you purchase something, you're making a decision to support a business, moral decisions, whatever it might be. And I just felt like Vivo Life was leading that charge with showing compassion and morality in business.
I hope so. I really do. And I think business is one of the biggest vehicles we have to make a change in this world right now. Everyone's talking about revolution and changing the way we operate, and that's really important. But as an individual, I know sometimes I can feel powerless and think, okay, well, how can I impact this system? I'm just one person. But every purchase you make, whether it's the food that you buy or the supplements or the clothes you wear, you're directly, in a way, casting a vote for the future that you want. If you're supporting ethical green companies, a lot of the time you have to pay a little bit extra to do it. I mean, I've just changed my bank, and it was you're paying more to go with an ethical bank than you are with a mainstream bank, for example. But every time you do that, you're helping to create that future, and the more of us can do that, the faster the tide will change.
Is it Triodos or something like that?
Yeah, exactly. Bang on.
I thought it might be, yeah.
Yeah, they're Bristol based, and I really like what they're about. And it was only when a friend of mine caught me and challenged me on it, and he was like, well, who are you banking with? And I said HSBC, and he was like, well, that money's being invested in oil and God knows what else, and the penny just dropped, and I knew that I had to change it. So none of us are perfect. We're all making ourselves aware of these things all the time. And I'm sure in a year's time, I'll reflect on this conversation and think, oh, there's probably something I was doing here which is completely hypocritical and I wasn't aware of. But we're all just trying to do our best, and that's what I think we should aim for. We shouldn't let progress get in the way of we shouldn't let perfection get in the way of progress, and we should just keep trying to improve. That went off at a tangent.
No, I totally agree though. I've had that all the time where, same as you've got kind of these values, you start talking to people about it, and the first thing they do is pick up on things you're not doing, finding flaws and kind of progression. It's like, you've got to start somewhere, you gradually make steps. No,
for sure. And equally though, I would say having people in your circle that are not afraid to call you out and say, well, actually, that could be done better, because that, for me, if people didn't do that in my life, then I wouldn't be able to be aware of those things, or I might be, but it might take longer. So it's a balance. So for example, like my dad, when he said that he was gonna do a meatless Monday, it would have been quite easy to say that's not enough, it's not making a difference, blah blah blah. But because I said, cool, I'm really proud of you, like, keep it up, he did it. And then a couple months later, he was like, right, I'm vegan Monday till Friday. And then suddenly it became, okay, this is a full-time thing. Before you know it, the whole thing has shifted. So it's giving people the encouragement to make those small steps.
Yeah, totally, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Well, hopefully the questions weren't too difficult.
No, at all, man. No, I enjoyed it. And again, feel free. Like, I'm not on a clock, so if there's anything else you want to ask, then I'm here.
Let's have a little look through my
The only thing I have to do tonight is go and pick some wild garlic before it rains again. So we're not really on the schedule.
All right. Okay. In that case, I'll only ask you one more. Okay. Actually, I don't know what we'll do. We'll kind of close on this one then. So,
Cool.
For other businesses, what kind of advice would you give to them in this time? Would you advise them to look at, almost marketing compassion to a certain degree? Obviously, you're greenwashing in some aspects, but or do they stick to their guns at the moment? What kind of advice would you give businesses at the moment?
I don't think you can market compassion. I think people see through it instantly. I think if you're a brand and you're generally the reasons you're in business are not for those reasons, and then you try and, I don't know, put a logo on a t-shirt that says trees are our friends or something like that. I think people, the penny drops quite quickly, and because you're looking at it as a marketing tool, then you're probably not going to be thinking, okay, well, how does compassion move through my supply chain and move through my workforce and move through my ingredient sourcing and all of these things, because you're just thinking marketing, and quickly someone will say, well, hang on, you've got trees on this t-shirt, but they're being made in a sweatshop in China, for instance. So I would say, I genuinely believe in the next 5 to 10 years, we're going to really see like a complete collapse of the traditional profit hungry business that has no other objective but to make as much money as possible for their shareholders. And I believe that it's a real opportunity for ethical businesses that are focused on much more than just their economic growth to really seize power and make an impact, because I think people care more than ever. So if you're in business for the right reasons, if you genuinely have something that you believe in, it doesn't all have to align for the same purpose. You could make beautiful wedding dresses that make someone's special day the best thing that it could ever be, but it's still coming from that place, right? Because you're creating this thing that you really believe in and you really believe is going to make a difference. So whatever that is, focus on that, and then I believe the rest will follow.
Nice. Yeah, no, I think that's really good advice. Definitely, and hopefully in those 5 years, I'll hold you up to that and be like, you're right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for jumping on the call. Massively appreciate your time again.
Thanks, man.
So enjoy your garlic and then the weekend.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. And have a great one too.
In previous podcasts and interviews, I've kind of seen that you've mentioned about transparency and your business partner.
If you want to go with that again, if I've ruined your flow, then please.
No, that's fine. If anything, it's more authentic as a result.
Okay, cool. Put it in the bloopers.
Where he was kind of saying about having the right information that you can trust. Or we're going again.
I'm just going to hold it.
Well, have you got an iPhone or an Android phone?
Yeah, no, it's an iPhone.
An iPhone. Slippery mink.